guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Weddings on a Dime. I am so happy to have you here today and watching my videos. If you could please first hit that subscribe button so that you can see more of my videos. And if there's anything specifically you would like to see, please let me know in the comments below and hit the bell and give me a like. That would be awesome. Anyway, let's get into it. Today we're going to be talking about the photographer for your wedding. Finding that perfect photographer. So I'll tell you my story for my wedding photographer. It's a crazy story. I still have amazing photos, don't get me wrong, but we had a few problems with my photographer, so I just want to help you guys. If you're a newly engaged woman and you're looking for a photographer, I hope that I can give you some tips for not making some of the same mistakes that I did. So anyway, first thing, when you're finding your photographer, make sure whoever you're thinking about getting, or you may already have, see if you can do some practice photo shoots with them. I know we're doing this to save money, so if you could maybe see if they could just do it for free, just to do like just a real short, like 15-20 minute shoot somewhere close. It doesn't even have to be a really cool place, just to go somewhere to get an idea of what kind of photographs they take. Also, look at what they've done in the past. If they're a professional photographer, if they're a professional photographer, they should have a website maybe where they keep all their photos. So go back and look. Make sure you like all of them. My photographer, I looked back and saw some of her photos. She had only done like maybe 1 or 2 weddings, not that many, but hey, I was trying to save money and she was cheap because she hadn't been doing it for very long, but I mean, her photos looked good. Some of her wedding ones I noticed, some of them were a little blurry. I should have taken that as a warning. If you see any blurry photos, do not go with them, because your photos might turn out blurry as well, which some of mine did. But with the technology we have now, my sister-in-law was able to fix some of the important ones that came out blurry. Even like as my not my bridesmaid, as my flower girl was walking down, she didn't get a single good picture of her. All of them were blurry. And I'm just thinking, your camera, you can look at them where you're not looking to see if it was blurry. So anyway, that's just one thing you want to keep an eye out for. Look back at old photos that they've taken. Ask them for their repertoire if they don't have a website, just to get an idea of what kind of a photographer they are. Sorry, my brain is dead. So anyway, another thing would be is to have a meeting with them after, or I'd say before you even choose them. Ask them to see if you can meet with them, to look at the repertoire, to get an idea of how much it would cost. One thing that we did for our wedding to make it even cheaper is our wedding was going to be really short. It wasn't going to be an all-day thing. I didn't care if she was there taking pictures beforehand. So I only had her for 4 hours, so that made it cheaper. So that's one thing you can ask them about, is if you only have them for a short amount of time, if they could cut their rate down. Because photographers are super expensive, and if you're just trying to save money, I mean, you really don't need to spend a lot on your wedding. There are other ways of finding cuts in the cost. One thing I thought I wish I had done was find a friend to take the pictures, because that's what I was trying to do, but I couldn't think of anyone. But now looking back, there were several people who I could have asked who could have done a better job than the person that I actually paid. And I could have paid a friend maybe a couple $100 and taken them out to dinner or something, because they wouldn't have really wanted me to pay them. And so that would have been a way to save money. So that's one thing. I wish I had done a little bit more research, finding out if I did have any friends. I did have one friend who's amazing, but she was young in college. I didn't want to stress her out, so that's why I didn't ask her, but she still took pictures at the wedding. So one thing I wish I had done was maybe asked her if she wouldn't have mind taking pictures, but telling her don't stress about it because she has some anxiety and I didn't want her to worry about it. But maybe having one other person back up with her, because she got some amazing photos that my photographer didn't even catch. Like, my photographer didn't know the right angles to get to make it look good and the right moment to snap the picture, so she missed some special times that they could have been taking a photo. So that's another thing, is really get to know the personality of the person. You want someone who can tell you how to pose in your wedding pictures, because it's your wedding day. You don't want to have to worry about, oh, how should we pose with our bridesmaids? How should me and my husband pose? You don't want to think about that. So ahead of time, maybe show your photographer Pinterest ideas of what you'd want to see and tell them, hey, I want you to take full control of how we pose. I don't want to think about it. That way they could have an idea in their head of how they can tell everyone to stand, to look, how to hold the bouquets, whatever, because you want it to look amazing. So find someone who is really good has a good creative mind for ways to pose in the pictures, because that's really important. And I'm not good at posing. I just like for people to tell me what to do. So that was kind of annoying to have to worry about that on my wedding day. So make sure you have a meeting beforehand with your photographer and try to think of every detail you can talk to them about, to try to cut the cost. Maybe cutting how long they're there, seeing if you can find a friend to help, and also talk to your photographer and make sure you're getting all the pictures that you want, because that's another thing. My photographer and I didn't meet beforehand. We kind of knew each other through friends, but we never talked beforehand. But I assume, unless you tell me otherwise, I'm getting all the pictures. But I noticed when she gave us the pictures, it was like only 160. I was like, I know she took more than that, because it was 4 hours of pictures. So there's got to be more than 100. Well, it was like more like 120. It was like really low. So I was really disappointed, because that's one thing you look forward to, is going through your wedding photos after you get married. And I didn't have very many to look through. So we talked with her and she was like, oh no, that's all the ones you're getting. So discuss ahead of time with your photographer to see if they're gonna hold pictures back or if they're gonna let you have all of them, even if some of them may not have been edited. Discuss that with them, because you don't want to be disappointed later on thinking, oh, I only get a quarter of the pictures or whatever, because you're paying for it. It's like, why would you not get all of them? So make sure you discuss that with your photographer. But to save money, I would try to either find a friend or a friend of a friend who you know really well. Really get to know your photographer, become comfortable with them. Maybe even find like a college student who's taking classes. Make sure they know what they're doing. Don't just find someone who doesn't know what they're doing. Make sure you talk with the person and do practice photo shoots. Ask them for pictures that they've taken, not just of things, of people, because your wedding is going to be mainly people. I mean, they might get pictures of your dress and all the extra thing, like an empty auditorium, whatever. But the most important thing are the people in the pictures. So you want those to look good. So do a lot of research about your photographer before you choose them. Just really get to know them, become comfortable with them, and get to know, make sure you're on the same page with them. Those are some of the most important things to do. So if you have any other questions about finding the photographer, I could definitely make another video, because I feel like there's so much more I could talk about. But you really don't need to spend money on a super expensive photographer. You can still get some amazing photos with cameras that are out nowadays. even if you buy a really nice camera yourself, that you could use later on in life. Like my husband and I did that, but we didn't have it before we got married. We wish we had, because then I could have given it to my brother. He's really good at taking pictures, and he would have known the right angles to get and everything. Letting someone who you know can take good pictures, who maybe doesn't own a camera, letting them take the pictures, and that way you have that camera. I mean, it's an investment, even though it might be a little more expensive. It wouldn't be as expensive as getting a photographer. So there's just lots of options to look at to help save money for your big day. You don't want to have to be too much in debt, or try not to be in debt at all, whatever your goal is for saving money for your wedding. So if you like this video, please again subscribe so that you can see more videos, and if you have any questions, please let me know. I can make another video and try to answer those questions for you based on what I went through with my own wedding. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great day, and hope to see you back with our next video. Bye!